Hey guys, happy Friday. I am surviving through week 2 now, and today we had lab, and earlier this week we had our first quiz in Introduction to Professionalism of Nursing. I did alright. I could have done better, but I made silly mistakes. Luckily, we have a lot of quizzes in this class, and each quiz is only worth about 2% of our grades, so I think I'll be alright. It was a lot to study, and I studied the night before, so I didn't do what I was supposed to do, and that's probably why I made silly mistakes. But I did know the materials, so now I know how she tests, and I will get on the ball earlier, hence this weekend, because we have another quiz on Wednesday coming up. And then today we had our first skills lab on blood pressure, and I stink at it, guys. I was so bummed and frustrated. The room was freezing, and then I couldn't hear or feel anyone's pulse, and even my professor came, and he has a bounding pulse, which is supposed to be a really strong pulse, and I still couldn't hear it. I think that I was just overwhelmed with everything that you need to do all at once. There's 3 things that you're trying to do. You're trying to listen, you're trying to determine the systole and diastole beat, and you're also trying to be able to control the gauge, not to release it too fast or too slow so that you don't hurt them. And then, of course, if you do it too fast, then you're not able to hear it in time. So I think that I was getting overwhelmed with that, and plus I got really nervous when he had me do it on him. And then the girls that I was doing it with kind of already done it in the past, so they knew, and I don't know. I was just so frustrated. So luckily I have an arm cuff to practice on checking the blood pressure, and that I will do this weekend on my boyfriend as much as I can. I told him already, give him a heads up. So luckily I'll handle it and get it right this weekend, because our competency skills test is on next Friday, so 1 week from today. So I will practice that and hopefully master it. It is a skill to master for sure. And I know that a lot of hospitals now and doctors' offices have the digital ones, but as a nurse, you should know how to manually check blood pressure. And surprisingly, a lot of nursing students that come out of nursing schools don't, because now they're using all this new technology, and we have that as well in our school, but they have us practice this and master this prior to using that, because what if you don't have power one day? Living in Florida, having all these hurricanes, it happens often. So generators can only do so much. But also, it's just, like I said, a skill that a nurse should have. So that was exciting, though, that we got to get hands-on and start doing all of that. And then this weekend, I have to study a lot, because we have, like I said, the quiz 2 coming up next Wednesday, and then the competency on Friday, and then the following week we have 2 exams, and I'm so nervous for that. The one exam that we haven't had yet out of all the classes is this class, Physical Examination and Health Assessment. This class is tough to figure out what we need to know. I mean, I have the material. It's so much material, but obviously what's in the book is not how the test is going to be. We have to apply what we know from the book. And the professor just doesn't really give us an exact idea of what we need to know. He just says, read it all, know it all, practice the review questions, practice questions on evolve.com, because that's what our books are. So, wish me luck, guys. Besides that, I have a fun little barbecue on Friday that I'm going to. I haven't seen people in 2 weeks, so it'll be nice to see some new faces that I haven't seen in a while. And we'll be watching a little bit of football. Go Dolphins. Not really. I'm not a Dolphins fan, but I live in Florida, so I guess I should be. And yeah, just gonna be studying. Wish me luck. So my Friday wild night is this right here. I hope you guys have a great Friday. And before I go, I wanted to just show you guys this magazine that I receive monthly for NSNA. It's just a magazine that has, updates on the healthcare system, updates on, of course, NSNA. Also, what I thought was really interesting that I wanted to share with you guys is this page right here. It gives you study tips from all kinds of students all over the United States from different universities. So here they have someone from Florida State College in Jacksonville, Florida, University of Southern Indiana, Salt Lake City, Utah, University of Utah, all different places. University of South Florida, which is in Tampa. So it gives you a lot of tips, and one of the ones that, there's actually all of them are good in here, but one of the ones that I thought was helpful was this one that this student from Pennsylvania, Alvernia University, shared, and that was basically to divide your study material or your chapters into sections. So let's say there's 8 chapters. So divide it into 4 sections, 2 per section, and every day read one section for about 2 hours, understand it. And so, for example, she said, 5 days before the exam, I review section 1 for 2 hours. 4 days before the exam, I review section 1 for 30 minutes and study section 2 for 2 hours. 3 days before the exam, I review section 1 for 15 minutes, section 2 for 30 minutes, and study section 3 for 2 hours. 2 days before the exam, section 1 for 10 minutes, section 2... Oh my god, that scared me. My music just started playing by itself. Sorry. And you get the hang of it. So by the day before the exam, you review everything and only 10 minutes of 1, 20 minutes of 2, 30 minutes of 3, and an hour of 4. That way every day you're touching on each section so you don't forget, and you continue to keep that in your brain like a sponge, and you don't forget any of the other chapters while still learning the new ones, and so the day before you're just on top of it all. I thought that was really helpful. I'm going to give that a shot. I'm still trying to find my study tactics. I'm not sure that as we get farther in the program, or further in the program, if what I'm doing now will be helpful. So you have to kind of be open to changing your study tactics and or styles, and don't be afraid to do so, because I think that we don't know what we're getting into. So I think that obviously in your first semester it's all about trial and error. It's all about getting in the flow of things and getting the hang of what you feel is working for you. So also, if you're a visual learner, a lot of things I think will help is color. And if maybe you use different index color cards for a different section, or papers to write your notes for a different section, I think that would be helpful. So I'm going to give that a shot too, because I am a visual learner. I think I'm going to start doing graphs as well, just little charts actually. So I have everything in front of me. That helped me for pharm on the last test, and I got an A, so maybe that's a good way for me. Again, you have to kind of play with it and see what works and what doesn't work. And obviously, don't read it all. It's going to waste your time. I go through all of my chapter once. I read the entire chapter. And then I go through it and I focus on the main, bold, highlighted areas. Any side notes, any graphs, any charts. Anything that seems important, obviously, is usually highlighted or somehow put on the side as important facts or in a chart. So I think that's important. And There's a few other good study tips in here, but I'm obviously not going to bore you guys with the entire magazine. But if you guys have any great tips for me, please, please, please share them. I would really love that and appreciate it so much. Again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me. And as I figure out my way of studying, I will definitely fill you guys in and see if that can help for you as well. So I wish you guys a great weekend and a happy Friday. Don't get too crazy. And see you soon. Mwah. Mwah.